My overreaction would be that you got a huge problem at third base,
And
potentially.
Again, so it goes back to what I said earlier. Like, why was he batting fifth?
Before you even ask for anybody's overreaction, can you give us your reaction as our baseball expert here at ESPN 1000?
Well,
what was your, I'm going to say take, or what was your impression of what you saw as the Cubs opened their regular season with 2 games against the Dodgers in Tokyo?
I'm going to quote a buddy because I asked him, what'd you think of the Cubs? And he texted me this morning, yeah, it's pretty much how I remembered them. And that's kind of the feeling. Like, yeah, they're a little bit short on maybe the rotation, a little bit short in the lineup when you watch those 2 games. But obviously, it's a long season. They don't look scary just yet, And Tucker will have an impact, and I do think they will eventually look scary at moments this year. But on paper, and again, it's always that comparison with the team across from them, which was the Dodgers. They don't quite look scary yet, and maybe that's kind of why I tweeted out what I did. Like, I've said this on the air. What I'm getting at is I don't like undersized guys in general. It's a small team, and their number 5 hitter the first 2 days was the smallest guy on the team, and they're undersized at the corners, meaning first and third. They're a little bit undersized in left when you talk about the traditional slugger. Tucker's not thick or big, but he's tall and lanky and can hit homers, so I have no problem there. But
that's an interesting take that they're a small team.
Yeah, well, they are. They are. And I've
really
always brought this up.
but
If you, any time over the last 30 years, you walk into the Yankees locker room, going back to Derek Jeter and those guys, A-Rod, maybe for different reasons, but they have always had big, strong athletes. Now, sometimes they break
Aaron
down.
Judge.
Right. Sometimes they break down Stanton. But they're big and strong. I like big and strong. Even on the mound, the 16 Cubs, Rizzo big, Bryant big, Lackey big, Lester big. There's always exceptions to the rule. Hayward big. Even Zobrist was kind of big. There's always exceptions. So I don't love...
Schwarber was short, but Schwarber was
strong,
big.
Right.
I don't even think he was short. He's 6 foot tall, but he wasn't,
So they need to be a little bit like the Brewers, athletic, steal a lot of bases, take the extra base, because they're not going to slug that much, especially if the wind's blowing the wrong way. So that's kind of my first impression. Like, that offense is going to take some time to get going, and they're not going to do it by slugging a lot. Again, which is why I kind of like, why is Sean batting fifth?
It's an interesting take. Before we get to that, too, I would say, like, for me, I would not dispute a single word you said. I thought that 2-game set was all about the Dodgers and their brilliance and how they're built and how much better they should be against the rest of the National League or the rest of Major League Baseball. And I think there are going to be a number of teams that walk away from a 2-game set or a 3-game set against the Dodgers and feel less than great about themselves.
Yeah, very unfair to compare the Cubs to the Dodgers. Yeah. I mean, I wish we could. In a different world, the Cubs would be competing on the same level as the Dodgers. And this is without Betts or Freeman. But I mentioned this to Carmen yesterday and Yurko. The thing that's actually most impressive is the depth the Dodgers have. Their second-day relievers, they didn't pitch anybody back-to-back, are as good as anybody's first-day relievers.
It's like they have 2 sets.
They do.
And they've got 7 or 8 starters.
Yeah.
That and Tyler made the point, too, Jess, and I'd be interested to get your take as well. Tyler said, I think it's the best team, regardless of sport, he's ever seen put together.
Depth-wise, it might be, when you add it all up, it might be, I don't know about ever.
I think Carmen mentioned maybe that one of those Yankees teams could be.
If we're just talking baseball, probably on paper. Now, like,
You're talking any sport.
Well, the 85 Bears, I might put up,
but the Bears' offense was.
The Bulls in the 90s. I mean, we could really.
I think it was Jack said maybe the Golden State Warriors, when they had Kevin Durant, may have been a team that. Regardless, the point is that is truly the best team the money can buy.
And I think Andrew Friedman, who's in charge of the Dodgers, had one thing in mind in the offseason, repeating for the first time in decades. No one's done it, and the way to do it is to have redundancy, because it is tough to go 7 months with your frontline guys, not just once, but again. But he doesn't have to do it with his frontline guys. He's got enough backups and depth. So, yeah, comparing the Cubs to them is kind of unfair. But that's all we have.
Right.
And they went 0-2, and that stinks. Without Betts and without Freeman, you still lost 2 games.
And I can kind of look at, from a Cubs perspective, look at it and say, hey, it's obviously, I think the games are treated more like an exhibition, or should be treated more like an exhibition than they are. I thought your point was spot on about Shaw, and I know how many people came at you for it.
Well, a few did, others didn't.
But if the manager's going to tell you, yeah, listen, this is not rocket science. Our best players are going to be batting higher up in the order because it gives them a better opportunity to get more at bats.
Exactly.
I have no idea why you were batting. They were batting Shaw ahead of Dansby Swanson
in his first 2 games.
Were you trying to protect him a little bit?
Obviously, there were reasons behind it, right? They can't truly believe Shaw is more polished than Swanson, let alone PCA. And
by the way, Shaw, one of the things that I felt from watching that, and he may end up being the MVP of the league by the end of the year, he looks overmatched at the plate at this point.
And Counsell even said it. He had a bad 2 games. I don't know why he would debut in the 5-hole. The whole point to put your best hitters up early is to get that extra bat. The top 5 guys all had an extra bat in both games. Here's Dansby Swanson, who I agree is not Ty Cobb at the plate, but he can hit a homer. And he's more likely to hit a homer in a clutch spot than a rookie playing in his first couple games. But the point is, Swanson wasn't necessarily going to hit a homer. But when you talk about, you guys debate lineups too much, just put your top hitters at the top. Well, why didn't you do that?
Right.
You went against your own advice. And
Speaking because Counsell has said that.
Yeah, and Jed has said that. So you obviously had a strategy behind Shaw batting 5th, which trumped the idea of getting someone like Swanson extra bat. So I just tweeted that out. I'm not saying it's the end-all, be-all, but I think that's interesting. You went against your own kind of philosophy.
Well, listen, I mean, if it's a regular season game and it counts, these are all legitimate conversation points.
100%, because this is a mid-'80s team.
Well, I thought the point,
every win matters.
Yeah, I thought that point was great as well. Like for this team, that is, you're going to be the favorite in your division, but you're not a 95-win team by most people's evaluation. So every one of these small issues is probably bigger for you than some of the more talented teams.
Yeah, for sure. The Dodgers, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But that's the point. I mean, what did teams say? We want to stack one good decision on top of another good decision daily. And maybe that was the wrong decision. I don't know. I mean, people fired on Counsell for pulling Shota, but that was understandable.
Right.
That
was scheduled.
None of the starters went deep. This is mid-March still. You don't want to hurt a guy's arm. That makes sense to me. But there's other things we can debate. So let's overreact. 312-332-3776. I'll start things off. I'm worried about Seiya Suzuki. He went 0 for 8.
That's your comment?
He went 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts. He's being the full-time DH, something most younger players don't like to do, and he's already said he didn't want to do.
Right.
And he's not clutch. He's not clutch. There are good numbers. You can find good numbers. I'm not denying that. But
my concern with him is he's not going to be able to stay healthy. And he is hot. I mean, he's very streaky.
Yeah. And he's not playing the field, so he's more likely to stay healthy than not. But I don't disagree with you. He'll swing in and pull an oblique or something.
Well, that's the thing is we had that conversation with Sylvie, or I forget who, maybe it was Cap. Look, I don't think that just because he's DHing makes it significantly less likely that he's not going to get hurt, because he's a guy that will pull an oblique or he hurt himself on the base paths. So it may protect him a little bit, but for a guy who's had a long list of injuries, it would still be something that would be on the front of my brain.
So there's my overreaction. He's 0 for 8 with 4 Ks. It feels almost silly to say the guy might win the MVP, but I don't care. We are playing the overreaction game.
I would say to you, I don't even know if it's an overreaction, but you got a problem at third base. Shaw may end up being that guy, but if for whatever reason, like the next 160 games look like the first 2 games where he looked fine in the field, but at the plate, he looked overmatched. And if you can't find, if he's not the answer, who's going to play third for you?
They get rid of
Turner can't run out there at third base on a daily basis. So my overreaction would be that you got a huge problem at third base,
and
potentially.
Again, so it goes back to what I said earlier. Like, why was he batting 5th? It's just, forget about everything else, the extra bat or whatever. Like, shouldn't he debut in the 9-hole, give him less pressure? He came up with a game on the line.
Yeah.
Made the last out in both games.
You're asking a lot of a guy instead of, putting him at 7, 8, or 9 in the batting order.
Which you would think you would do.
Yeah.
He missed time because of an oblique injury.
Yeah.
So just on the surface, it's just a weird thing to do.
Maybe asking him too much to be your answer at third base without someone, as a legitimate, replacement if, in fact, it doesn't work well.
Yeah, he played well defensively in game 2.
Yeah.
Not maybe as sharp in game 1, but Counsell said he had a bad series at the plate.
He was very
Not
fortunate.
shocking.
The one hit that he got was basically, they ruled it a hit. It was an error on the pitcher.
Yeah.
Would you ask for that ball? You know how they ask
That's
for
a
the
really
ball?
good question. Yes.
Yes, you asked for it
Because
because
it's a hit.
But like when he gets his first like clean hit, are you asking for that ball too?
No.
No, your first hit is your first hit. It's a good question.
His
but
teammates will make fun of him if he does that. His
I think his teammates are going to bust his balls for asking for that ball as well, but I get it.
Right, but you still do it. 312-332-3776. If you're on hold, hang in there. We just want to get that off our chest. The overreaction game. We're playing at 0-2. You have to sit on that record for a week.
That sucks,
I
too.
say Seiya, that's my overreaction. Tommy's talking about third base as his. One's going to win Rookie of the Year. One's going to win MVP. I guarantee it. But for a week, we can overreact.